as the chief, I understand the frustration. Our officers are often frustrated as well. The community's clearly unhappy, and the folks in the park ultimately have nowhere to go. So we have this constellation of issues all coming together. What happens is, and what's happened in a number of other jurisdictions are, these issues have come up, they've been tested at court, and certain results and certain decisions have come forward, whether it's in Waterloo, whether it's in Kingston. And what it boils down to is that in the enforcement of a bylaw, it has to be constitutional. So if someone's going to be removed under any form of bylaw enforcement when they're unhoused, then they have to have a place to go. So, and if there's no beds available, then we can't do it. The other aspect is any type of police action has to be objectively reasonable. And for us to take an action to answer to a request to say a removal, how we approach that is the part where there's some reasonable discretion. So what I've done in the letter to council, just to get ahead of it, is to say, there's been some court decisions. There's been some previous similar circumstances by other police service. The Sarnia police take very much the same position as the courts have told us and other police services has taken, in that if we're going to go to a level of forcibly removing people, that the request of the Sarnia police to council is that a court order would be required. An injunction would be there, so that we're actually enforcing a court-reviewed injunction versus a bylaw arbitrarily as the own service. This is not a decision I make lightly. I know people are frustrated, but again, we are tied to what practices have been permitted by the courts. We're tied to what we can do under the law. And from a very practical perspective, if we take a person and evict them from a particular spot, that eviction ends at the sidewalk. So you could potentially arrest a person, walk them 30 feet to the sidewalk, release them because they're no longer in any violation, and now what? If we're going to solve these issues, we really have to start looking, and by we I mean the collective group, of which the police is only one part. We're happy to be partners, but collectively, across all the different sectors that have a stake in resolving this issue, we have to work together, and we have to have a strategic direction on what the community approach needs to be to resolve it.